ask questions. I ask a lot of questions, and I think a lot of being a real estate agent is asking the right questions. And especially when I'm very good at using people's or making the most out of people's time. And so when I do get someone in a conversation, albeit for like 20 minutes or 25 minutes, I know I have a certain amount of time and I need to squeeze the most amount of information that I can. And so I ask very poignant questions in order to leverage my business, or, there's just so much, into this real estate thing that I'm learning.
Hey, Jack Lehr down Lehr's Lehr Podcast. So all the way from the left coast, it's the West Coast, it's California, it's Stephen Buchanan. Welcome to the Lehr, brother.
Love the Lehr, love the podcast, love you, Jack, love Real, love Sarah Kane. So grateful to be here today.
So I think the only reason you're here is because you love Sarah Kane, and I'm super grateful that I have Sarah here that brought you here, okay? So Sarah's giggling out in the audience here.
Well, we met from, Coach K in the mastermind, in the Tom Ferry mastermind, and we hit it off.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm here. And I'm so grateful to be here. It was so nice to meet you guys, and to continue the relationship and the friendship that we've developed is just, it's just amazing.
I love it. We got to meet out in Dallas, Texas, I believe, and K Fairchild, fully spelled out. That's our coach, and super grateful for the Tom Ferry world. Get to meet some incredible peeps, and Stephen with the best Dagburn hair, in all of real estate. Now, you do have a little competition. There's this dude out in Scottsdale. It's pretty solid, but I think he's got I'm not going to say he just has great hair, but you have the best hair.
And is he hanging with Kelly Griffin Porter?
I think he's in that world. Yeah.
Or no, are they competitors or what? Who is this guy?
Yeah, I think he's a competitor. I don't think, yeah.
A blow dryer, because that's the secret, brother. It is.
Dude, I got to work on this,
I was salon since I was 5 years old. So,
oh my! So we got to know each other back in probably last year in Dallas, in August, I think it was, and I got to spend a little time together and learn a little bit about each other. And I believe in particular, you had a transaction going on that was maybe an investment deal, and Kay said, "Hey, why don't you guys have a conversation?" I kind of remember having that, and I was like, "Yeah." I believe we matched up pretty heavy in philosophy and hit it off, and then you fell in love with Sarah, and everything moved from there.
Yeah, man. I mean, we did talk about an investment opportunity. I didn't end up taking that one. It was a little bit too much of a stretch for me. Yeah. But I think that the Tom Ferry world for me is all about meeting people that are smarter, better, have been in the business for more time, and that you can learn from. And I think that those relationships that I've met, obviously, truth be told, the reason why I'm here and I've met other people has just, exponentially expanded my horizon and the way I think about things. So, super grateful for that conversation that we had. And then I was invited by Sarah to join the masterminds. And I'm just one of those people that shows up, except for today, because I was a little late. But I think that showing up is, 95% of the battle, and a lot of people don't. And, when I was invited to get on those mastermind calls, I consistently show up. I think I get a lot of benefit from them. And, I learn from you and from the whole team. So I'm really grateful.
Yeah, I think it's really cool. And I think a lot of people think that this little simple thing is so overlooked. Okay. And that's called showing up. And I just remember so many times in life and in business, people are what's the first thing I should do? Like when I get into real estate, show up. Now I always, preface that and say, listen, make sure it's with a grateful heart, show up with a grateful heart, but most won't even show up, or they'll show up so inconsistent, and they cheat themselves, they cheat their family, they cheat their clients for all these additional opportunities because they just, number one, don't show up. So I love it that Stephen has, you show up and then you share with us and you shoot us a text and go, oh my gosh, I used what you guys talked about in a scenario and it helped you.
It's crazy. Yeah. One of the masterminds that we were on about 4 weeks ago, you were talking, the gal from Florida was talking about leveraging relationships in order to get a deal. That week, I literally did that and got my deal accepted. And we weren't the highest offer. We had cash down on the table, but I called her and I said, listen, here's the deal. We're not coming up, but we got a nice hand. You can work with me. I'm a local agent. I'll help you out. And I think that she was an out of area agent. And I think that she needed the help and saw it. Now this transaction is a little crazy right now and we're working together. But I got my deal accepted from that call because in the back of my mind, when I was fighting for that deal, I was like, just use your relationships. And it's not that I do anything fake or I just, try to showboat. I'm just very organic and make a phone call. And I just got so much out of it, but I consistently get a lot out of the calls that we have. And that was just a small little cog in the wheel that I was able to use that week that proved true. But every other week, I just listen to what everyone has to say. Kelly Griffin Porter, yourself, Colin, like a rock star. I mean, this is a bunch of people that are showing up every single morning. Colin is just insane. Like, I don't even know how old he is. He's in his early 20s and he's just like knocking stuff out of the park,
Yeah.
So to be around the people that I'm around in my network and in expanding it via your network, it's extremely humbling because I have so much to learn,
Well, it's that proximity. Okay. So like, here's the beautiful part. Like we bring people in and like, I want to learn from them. I learn from you. Like you come in and give a different perspective because of your experience. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like we should be doing that. And I love that we can come into it like a mastermind where it's not just, somebody spewing just a bunch of information, like we're sharing stuff to help one another.
Yeah. And that's what I think about, the Tom Ferry thing. I mean, as much as there's information in there, I think it's just the relationships and just the learning from other people. Like I organically will meet someone such as yourself and we've developed a relationship and ask questions. I ask a lot of questions. And I think a lot of being a real estate agent is asking the right questions. And especially when I'm very good at using people's or making the most out of people's time. And so when I do get someone in a conversation, albeit for like 20 minutes or 25 minutes, I know I have a certain amount of time and I need to squeeze the most amount of information that I can. And so I ask very poignant questions in order to leverage my business or, there's just so much, to this real estate thing that I'm learning.
Yes. I mean, so think about, we go into these masterminds and we're sharing this information with each other. And like so many times, I'm not going to pick on a particular brokerage, but there's a particular brokerage in our area where I'll use the word corporatized. They become so corporate. And it's probably not just that brokerage, but just the way their philosophy is in our local market. And they become so corporate minded where everything it's not about relationships. It's about like,
I get it.
It is super strict and it's like, it's the foolishness. Stephen, please submit your highest and best and have it in by 4:00. And let's not build relationships because the highest and best offer is going to be the one that gets it done and takes it to the table. No, it doesn't. And that's the stuff that just drives me nuts when I have these people that enter our world. But when they just open up the mindset a tiny bit, like you have, like, and you're not corporatized, but you've been so open to suggestions on things to do to help grow your business. And that's what I love getting around those folks. Cause I come into this conversation today, like what can I learn to take back to others?
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, the whole corporate thing is very interesting to me because I've dealt with agents from, you name it, all the brokerages. And just because you're in these high-end corporate brokerages doesn't mean that you're a good agent. I work for Sherry Miller and Associates, which is a very small boutique agency in the high desert.
Yeah.
And I got to give a shout out to my team. We run it out here. My broker has been up here for 35 years. It's a mom and pop. Madeline Lavoie is my broker. I've got an amazing team, Tom Murtaugh, Paul Carr, Vince Johnson, all these people that have helped me. But this corporate mentality of doing things one way. I mean, there's advantages of being in that, but there's also advantages, this difficult deal that I'm working with this gal right now who's, in one of the corporate things. And she's like, you're so lucky because my broker barely picks up my phone call. My broker picks up my phone call every single time that I call. And I'm always like, hey, I'm sorry to call. She's like, you're never wasting my time. Yeah. But she always picks up my phone call. And, I know that when I'm calling her 4 times a day, I know that I have to ask these specific questions, but she's giving me her time and the answers in order to make it happen.
I love it. So Stephen, let's talk a little bit about your origins. Okay. So were you born in California?
I'm such a city kid, born in Chicago, raised in Los Angeles. Went to college, 2 colleges in New York City. So I went to college at Fordham at Lincoln Center, and then I graduated from NYU. So I was in 2 colleges in New York. Best experience of my life.
Can I just stop you there on the NYU experience? What did you go to study?
I was a theater major, so I was an actor.
You were in the Tisch School of the Arts then.
School of the Arts, but when people ask me now, I say Stern Business School, and they're like, "Oh, that makes sense." I mean, it's a bit embarrassing. I mean, I didn't make it as an actor, although Hollywood did miss out. I would have been I would have been a good movie star.
I think so. But did you do some, some acting?
Nothing crazy. I did 2 indie flicks and then I did a bunch of commercials and,
okay.
And then after college, I went to downtown LA. Where do you go from New York City? You go to LA. And then I was like, oh my God, I'm living with my parents in the Valley, which wasn't that cool. But I moved to downtown LA and I was there for 15 years and I saw that explode. And then, so I've been a city kid my whole life. And then I bought a house in 29 Palms, which is where I live and I work now. And I love this community. I love it out here. It's a small little town. As Coach K drove by, she was like, this is where you work? She's like, this is insane. But, we're Joshua Tree. So we have
that's what we want to talk about, Joshua Tree. Like that is where Sarah's favorite tree grows, Joshua Tree, right?
Yeah. It's quite dramatic. Like I say, it's quite dramatically beautiful. I mean, I wake up every morning and there's no one around. It's huge mountains, landscape forever. People are like, find me a house with a sunset. I'm like, you have 360, or find me a house with a view. I'm like, you have 360 views here all the time. It's insane.
So do you see mountains and desert? Like what do you see out your way?
I have mountains in front of my backyard. It's just, they're epic. It's like Palm Springs, but it's just this small little community that hasn't blown up yet.
And you're not too far from Palm Springs?
We're an hour away. So we have an office down there. So we have 5 offices.
Okay.
We have our flagship is in Pioneer Town. We have Joshua Tree Realty, 29 Palms, Morongo Realty, Palm Springs, and then we're opening Big Bear.
Very nice. So you're in some high-end markets then.
We are, yeah. And I can float around to these different offices, have meetings. I mean, I love it. It's great. I mean, the opportunity is endless. And I see dollar signs everywhere.
Yeah.
I see dollar signs everywhere. I mean, if anybody's taking advantage of opportunity, it's me. I mean, from door knocking to open houses. And can we talk about open houses for a moment? Because
I think we should.
Open houses are like, people are like, will you do an open house for me? And I'm like, on Friday, I'm like, it's insane to me because open houses to me are like cooking a meal for the neighborhood. And you've got to add ingredients and you've got to prep it properly. And it's like, it's like you just don't cook something and just feed it to anybody like it's nothing. It's like I take a lot of prep. I door knock, I put flyers, balloons are real estate 101 in open houses.
That's the showing up part of it, right?
Showing up part, yeah. And then it's just a whole vibe. Like when I go into open houses and there's no music, I'm like, oh my God, like what's happening in here? It's like it's sterile. I mean, I got incense burning, music, drinks, and it's like hang out, chill, come in and out, and then data capture.
Okay. Yes.
So it's just, I don't know where we went with that, but we're talking about, open house.
The open house is like, it's one way to grow your business.
It is. I mean, opportunity is what I was talking about. Opportunity that from, open houses and just, everywhere I turn, I see an opportunity,
It becomes your storefront for that time frame, right?
It does.
Where else can you go purchase a $2 million storefront for a 2-hour time frame?
100%. And that's what
Are you renting that? No, you're not.
exactly. I just closed a house in Palm Desert and I had a lot of traction on that. But I'm doing open houses in Palm Springs. It's like, oh yeah, I'll do your $1.2 million house. That's not my listing, and try to get in Canva the neighborhood and try to meet people and try to hustle some buyers. 100%.
Do you ever get opportunities from situations like that?
All the time.
Yeah.
I data capture, you got to sign in, you follow up. It's all in the follow up, but it's difficult to follow up with people. I am on the phone all day. I wake up in the morning and, at 7 a.m. and I'm hustling all day till 7 and 8 at night. And I'm on the phone, and it's draining, but it's rewarding as well. It's very rewarding. But
I love this. So NYU,
bartender for 15 years. I mean, that's really where I got my people thing, is like, bartender. People loved me as a bartender, and I was just really good at taking people's money, because I think you go into a bar, a bar and nobody, these guys are actors. They're like, oh, I'm too good to be here. I was like, oh, come on. What, you want table for two, romantic dinner? Oh, I got you all day long. At the end of the thing, I'll get the tips, and it's just like caking up. And people would see me again and again and be like, you're the nicest bartender I've ever met in my life. I'll be like, oh yeah, cool. But at the end, when I give you the check, it's like, pay me. And real estate, it's like, I know how to read people and read the room. And so when I walk in, I'm very organic, and I think a lot of my people skills come from bartending. Yeah, 100%. And I think one of the things that I learned in bartending school was remember everybody's name and everybody's drink. And if you can't remember everybody's name, you can remember their drink. And so when people call me, I put them in my phone. And when they call me 3 months later and I say, hey, Susan, and they're like, oh my God, like, you remembered my name. I don't necessarily remember the conversation because it's not in my CRM, but I'll have it on my phone. And that little touch, how you can leverage to get clients.
That's great. And then, like, do you use a CRM?
I do. I use Follow Up Boss.
Okay, good deal. So that's important too.
Yeah, it is. And my CRM has grown exponentially in the past year. It's like, I don't necessarily think I work it as well as I could. And I've got a lot to learn on that. But everybody goes in the CRM now. Everybody. Because that's my book of business.
So right now you're at a boutique and brokerage with a bunch of different locations. So you have the ability to sell in luxury markets. And again, the funny thing is that Stephen does some posts, and occasionally we'll see 6 acres selling for $14,000 in California. And I'm like, what the hell is happening here? Like, it's just hard to fathom that something like that with the beautiful views. I'm like, so like, is it poison ground? Like, what's happening?
It's just opportunity. I mean, I think that this is the last frontier out here where I'm at. 29 Palms is like, once you go east of that, you're in Arizona. It's just, I mean, like, this is the last I call 29 Palms the Brooklyn of Joshua Tree, because I lived in Williamsburg in 2001 and 2002, and I saw it explode. Oh, yeah. And so when I saw this 29 Palms thing, I was like, I want a house there. And my mom and everyone was like, what's happening? What is this place? And I was like, just get me the house. I mean, my house has doubled in value. I bought my house 5 years ago this May, on the 5-year mark. But I just saw the opportunity there, and it's continuing to grow. I mean, the business owners here, I know all the business owners, and there's a small community. The one thing that I want to do here is outreach.
Okay.
So I love to give back to my community, and I don't think that that's been put into place yet. So that's one of the things I'm trying to figure out with my buddy, because I think giving back to the community is very important. So we're working on that stuff.
Yeah, definitely. And when you see that opportunity to give back, again, it comes back manyfold. You do it for the sake of, everybody has their own reasons, but it's amazing when you give, you become the biggest receiver. And it doesn't need to be money or anything. It can be, I love seeing that work, paying it forward and getting it back manyfold.
100%. But, you know, I mean, I just saw the opportunity out here. So, I mean, there's $15,000 5-acre lots with no water, no power. You know, people want to come out here and be in the middle of nowhere. I mean, the cost of living is extremely expensive in the cities. People want a change of lifestyle. And so they see the opportunity to buy these houses. I mean, you can still get a 2-1, a 3-1 for $270,000 in 29 Palms. And we also have high-end houses. I mean, I've closed on a, $800,000 house out here. So it's like, it's the spectrum. And then, you've got these like $7,000 lots. So the spectrum is tenfold. But people like it. And I think that more people are catching on. Since I left LA, people are calling me and saying, hey, what's up? You look like you're crushing it. And it's not even about crushing it. People see like the closed sales and they don't know that I'm in the office 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. They think it's easy. Yeah. They just on Instagram and social, they just see the close, but they don't see the nitty gritty of it. The day in, day out, the constantly pivoting on your feet, the exhaustion, so.
I think that's a big part of it is that, we have, we've had a lot of different team members over the years and many that crush it, many that come in and maybe put in I'll use the word minimal effort and typically get minimal results, but then they go, well, what am I doing here? And then you sit down with them, you go like, so prospecting, let's just talk about that. And we'll say, I made 29 phone calls. You're like, okay, so how long did that take you to make those 29 phone calls? An hour. And most people exaggerate anywhere from 10 to 90%, and maybe even as much as 100% or more. But let's just say I spent 40 minutes making those phone calls. So then what'd you do after that? Well, then I did this, and this. How long did that take you? Another hour. Okay, so maybe like we're into it for an hour and a half total of work time. And then, we don't get the opportunities, or the opportunities in front of you, but you don't close deals and you don't make income. And you go, well, I just don't get it. Like, it's so much harder to close deals right now. You're damn right it is. Yeah. It takes way more energy and effort to get opportunities under contract and closed.
Yeah, this market's insane. I don't know how it is where you guys are, but we went through a huge boom. And now, I mean, from January to now, it's been insane. And I've still did the same amount of work, if not working harder.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting. But you're right. I think that people who I see that don't work hard, it's like, wow, like, okay, that's how you work though. That's fine. I mean, you can lead a horse to water. The opportunity is there. The information's there. You either take it in and you show up and work. But no one's going to work harder for me than me. And that's what I love, is that I wake up in the morning, I'm grateful. I practice my gratitude every single morning. I wake up at 5:30 and mindset completely, doing what I need to do to get my day started, which, we talk about a lot.
Yeah.
On your pod, on your mastermind. Yeah. And, I show up for myself every day. Sometimes it's harder than others, but I know that I'm going to work hard for me because it's my business. And that's the end of it.
I mean, I love the philosophy that you have. You truly, again, you have that professional commitment to the industry. You practice the gratitude, and like, let's just talk about that a little bit, like gratitude. Like, is that something you did all your life, or you start practicing it recently?
I mean, my life changed when I came out here into the desert. I didn't have a good quality of life in Los Angeles, and my quality of life exploded when I came out here. I was working as a bartender, and I was working at Morton's Steakhouse, and I worked every single holiday. Talk about corporate. Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, Mother's Day, Valentine's Day, every single holiday I had to work. I never got a vacation. My friends were going to Mexico to see these huge concerts, and I was never able to do that. Now I am. I make my own schedule. I make my own thing, and I'm so grateful for that. Not only that, I'm grateful for what I'm doing. Like this real estate thing, was, I had a license And my buddy Tom Murtaugh, love Tom, shout out to Tom, one of my best friends, helped me get my house out here and knew I had a license and was working for 29 Palms Realty. And he was like, I'm going to introduce you to Madeline. And I had never done it. I was like, I don't know, man, I don't know. And he said it to me 3 times. And he was like, by the 3rd time, I was like, all right, I'll meet the broker. And I met her. And that was when Joshua Tree was exploding. So I came in and got my first house listing. And I think by 2 months in, I had 18 escrows. I was averaging 18 escrows by myself as a new agent for like 3 months consistently. And not all of them were houses. A lot of them were land deals, cabin deals. And we have these recreational cabins that are pretty cool out here that are like from the old Homestead Act, and they're super romantic. I was geeking out on them when I was like in LA, and I was like, what are these $50,000 houses? And I sell them. So I just think that they're really interesting, and I think that they're romantic, and I would never talk anybody out of getting a rec cabin, because 5 acres and a structure is just beautiful, But
Is there water on those properties?
some yes, some no. It depends where you get. That's why you hire me as an agent, and then I help you out and I figure out what's in the water district.
I might be doing that right now. I'm interviewing.
It's just an interesting opportunity. But I came in here, and super, now from what I've done being in this industry for 3 years and what I've done so far, and looked at my career and looked at what I've done so far, I'm like, damn, that's crazy. And my buddy Tom, is one of my best friends. He sits over there, and he brought me in, and that was it. So my gratitude is humongous, man. Like humongous for my quality of life, for the way that I can wake up, and my views are just insane, that I get to go to work and work 12 hours a day. Yeah. And then drive around the desert listening to cool music while I go show properties. I mean, there's nothing better than that.
Damn.
It's nice. It's good.
I think Shane, Sarah, are we moving to Joshua Tree? We're doing it. Let's make it happen.
It's epic, man. It's epic.
Oh my gosh.
It's great. And if you guys ever come out here, we'll just put you up. I'll put you up. So I got you.
And a $2,000 lot. 17 acres for 2,000.
I run an Airbnb. I run an Airbnb that's pretty successful. So you guys stay there. That'll be cool.
I think we need to do this. I'm just worried about buying something in California, and then if I have to leave, getting taxed to death. Is that still happening?
Oh, it's happening.
Yeah.
We're getting taxed everywhere out here. It's crazy. I hear they're putting more stringent things in California, but people are leaving the state in droves. But it's still a nice place to live. It's beautiful. You can get to the ocean, desert, mountains. It's crazy.
And you have the ability to market all of those based on the areas that you're located, pretty much.
I do. People are like, do you do this area? I'm like, I do the state of California. Where's the business?
It's like the 5th largest economy. It's
massive. You know what I mean? Like, where's the business? You know what I mean? If people want me to write something up or look into something, it might not be my niche area, but it's also nice to have a local realtor, because if you're not local in this specific market, I have to nudge agents, be like, put your SWPI on that form, the septic well addendum. They're like, what's that? I'm like, you help agents out though. And, you leverage relationships, and that's what it is. And you talk about that all the time, Jack. And I think it's the most important, thing in this business is relationships and keeping things open, keeping a humble heart. Like, I'm so humble in this business, so humble. Like, I've got so much to learn,
Yeah. And certainly sometimes when the lid gets a little big or the ego gets out of control, there's this, there's that certain time in life where you can get humbled based on, and I've been there plenty of times, probably a couple of times just recently, right, Sarah? Just a little bit, we all go through these moments, and it's important to stay humble. Yes.
It is. Yeah. People talk about like these TV shows with real estate agents. I'm like, I don't know what those are, but like, I know that it's showing up and it's working hard. That's what I do,
I love it. So music, you have a guitar behind you.
I have a guitar behind me. I also just bought a guitar, which I should not have done, but I was in Venice Beach and they had this 63 Gibson Melody Maker, and I always my dream guitar, so I just bought that. Yeah. Music, I love music. And I love art. I was a swing dancer for years in LA for like 7 years, like listening to like
Get out of town.
40 music, yeah, like Lindy Hop swing. Like I just love that whole zone. And I think it's really, I always wanted to like, be able to like walk into a crowd and just like twirl some girl around and just look like the coolest dude in the room. And I went to a wedding and it was funny. Like one of the bridesmaids, I was like, "Do you want to dance?" And she looked at me. She was like, "Yeah, I want to dance." And like, I was like, "Oh, wow." Like, and like, I was holding her hand to the dance floor. I'm like, "Damn, this chick can dance, dude." And literally for like an hour, I was just throwing her around the dance floor. It was a lot of fun. But I love music. Yeah, I do. Big music guy, big jazz guy.
Jazz, swing. Do you ever do any ballroom dancing?
No, not that.
Okay.
No. I fell into swing dancing organically in downtown LA, which was really cool. I had two of the best teachers, Stephen and Shanzi. They're still there. They're epic. But I fell into it. My mom had me take dance classes, but I think everything has to happen when I was a kid, but everything has to happen organically, and it took me years to like fall into swing dancing and stuff like that. But it's music, it's rhythm, it's timing.
Yeah.
Just like real estate, Jack.
It is. I wish I could get some of that rhythm that he has. Grow my hair a little longer.
I think you have the long hair. I think it's just the blow dryer.
There's no, I need to get to the blow dryer. Sarah goes, nope, because it would be looking like this. I love it. Well, Stephen, anything else we want to share with those out there? A little bit about yourself that the people don't know.
Not necessarily about myself. No, I think that real estate has changed my life for sure.
Mhm.
I think that meeting people and such as yourself and Sarah, who have been so kind and generous to me, and I'm forever grateful for you guys, is what it's all about. It's about meeting people and being humble and keeping your heart open and asking the right questions.
Yeah. Are you going to head out to Summit again this year?
I might. Yeah. When is it? When is it?
I think it's in August. Yeah.
I'll see you there.
I think we
going?
decided we're going. So, right, Sarah, we're going. I have my ticket. I didn't get Sarah's yet, but I didn't get Sarah's yet. You're going. So.
I'll be there. I'll be there for sure.
Excellent. We'll look forward to that. Again, Stephen Buchanan, left coast, west coast, California.
29 Palms Realty.
Yes. What's the name of your company?
29 Palms Realty.
There you go.
Love it.
When you're looking for a $2,000 lot and you want to be out there where there's an incredible view, please hit up Stephen. But more importantly, he does $1 million houses as well, and $1 million properties. Again, I'm grateful that you joined me today on the Lehr, Stephen. And
Jack,
if this helped you, resonated with you, please like, comments, subscribe, share, and make your day great.
thanks, Jack.